St. Louis Cardinals have a few spring training games under their belt now, and today we want to take a look early in camp. What are we expecting and projecting the Cardinals opening day roster to be this year? Most years you have a pretty good feel for who's going to be making the 26-man group, but I think there might be some major differences today between me and Sandy, and even you listening here. So let's have fun and try to predict who we think will be playing against the Tampa Bay Rays on opening day at Busch Stadium for the Cardinals on this episode of Dealing the Cards. Welcome into Dealing the Cards, Josh and Sandy. As always, we don't have Andrew today, but this is going to be a fun stream. If you missed, we had our first episode called To the Bullpen with Trevor Rosenthal go live yesterday on our YouTube channel, so you can go check that out. It's a new podcast we're doing alongside Trevor Rosenthal, which is super fun. He gave some kind of his thoughts because we haven't heard from him since the rebuild started, how he feels about the state of the Cardinals right now. And then he gave some really interesting insights on what it's like to be a part of spring training, the importance of facilities as the Cardinals have a new one built as well. And Trevor's just an awesome friend of the podcast, and now it's fun to be teammates with him as well. So appreciate the support on that and share with other people as you go. But I hope this is an interactive chat today as you're jumping in. Let us know your thoughts on what you're projecting or feeling for the Cardinals lineup. We're going to go position group by position group today. And then at the end, we'll kind of give our lineups and then even like some meta narratives that come from it. I think one of the things, Sandy, I think off the top, we're both probably projecting Lars Nootbaar is not going to be healthy for the open day roster. So that's something to establish early up front. So we're trying to keep into account, like we're trying to read tea leaves, right? Like who do we think makes the roster? What injuries are at play? Those types of things. But so we'll go through position by position group, talk through why we had certain guys on or off, and then we'll give you our lineups as we go through as well. But please, as we're going, let us know what you think on who's going to make the opening day roster. So Sandy, I'll let you lead off if you want, and then you want me to lead off with the catcher position. What do you? Actually, I want you to.
Do you want to go position players or pitchers first?
Let's do position players first.
Okay.
Because I think catcher is such an interesting one that, actually starting pitching could go first too. What do you think? What do you want?
I think starting pitching is a great place to start because that's
all right. Let's do it.
But it's actually so hard to be confident because who knows?
Let's do it.
Right.
Okay. So Sandy, as of today, subject to change, and it's a lot of guessing right now, but informative guessing. Who is in your rotation? Actually, here, I guess first question, do you have a 5-man or a 6-man rotation?
I have a 5-man right now.
Okay, 5-man.
I'm projecting, I'm baking something in where one of the guys, I think there's no way he doesn't make the roster, and I think he will make spot starts. So I'm going to
Okay, we might have a similar thing then. I'm curious. Okay, tell me who is in your opening day rotation.
Okay, so let's go 1 through 5.
Okay. Do you want me to confirm if I have them too, or do you want me to just
Yeah, I'll name a player, and I'll tell you where. I'll name in my order, and then you tell me where they are.
Okay.
I've got Libby as my opening day starter.
Same here.
I think he's got to be the guy, right?
Yep.
Like Dustin May, whatever. I'm probably lower on Dustin May than 95% of Cardinals fans. And
I like Dustin May.
He's fine. But I don't think he's earned the opening day job. Obviously, we have a lot of spring left, and he hasn't even pitched yet. But I think Libby's earned this job with what he did last year. I think he's the best pitcher returning to the team. I'll go with Libby.
Yeah, I go with Libby too. I think you're right. I think he should take the ball. I don't think they're going to necessarily hand it to him, but I think he's got to go earn it. I think they want him to earn that. Dustin May's the runner-up for me as that next guy, just because he's the veteran on the rotation and roster and does have talent regardless. But I think Libby's that opening day starter, and he's had some interesting returns early in camp.
Yeah. So then after Libby, I've got May too. I think
also have May.
I think it makes a lot of sense. He was the big signing this offseason, put that in quotes, obviously. But I think that's fine. I think he makes sense as the 2.
So real quick, for those who don't know Dustin May, because there are some who haven't heard him yet, Dustin May was their big free agent signing the offseason. Oh, like you said, quote unquote, big free agent for signing the offseason. Yeah. Was a top prospect with the Los Angeles Dodgers for a long time. Has electric stuff. High velo, except it's kind of dropped a little bit in recent years, but he's trying to regain that. Wicked sweeper. Some of those RPMs in all baseball last year, I think, on the sweeper. He's a guy that's had immense success at the big league level, but also had a lot of failures and has been injured a ton. So he spent a little time in Boston last year after being traded from the Dodgers to Boston at the deadline, and then signed the Cardinals as a free agent. It's kind of like a reclamation project.
Yeah. So I think it's fine. It's fine signing, whatever. But he's the 2 to me. I think he's got the second best, maybe the best stuff if he's fully healthy and he bounces back. I know he put on some weight this offseason, so that should be good. But I think he makes a lot of sense there. My 3 is McGreevy. I think he's the only other guy, and I don't know if you agree with this. I think this makes sense. So I think he's the only other guy that you can confidently say is in the opening day rotation.
I agree. Yep.
really up in the
He's
air.
also my 3. But I think there's another guy in here that I actually feel actually no, I feel pretty I'm starting to feel confident who I think the 5-man group's going to be.
I feel a
But
little bit better, but I think we're going to disagree.
okay, but I do have a little bit of. I think there's a. I told this on. Can I give my next pick? Actually, I know
Sure.
we cheated a little bit. I think Kyle Leahy's kind of locked in, not fully, but
Yeah, yeah.
I
Come on.
think they want him to be there. So I
They've
do
got
think if
and
he unless he blows it in camp, I think he's going to be that guy who gets in there. But yeah, 1, 2, 3. I think is Libby, May, McGreevy.
nice.
Leahy could be 4 or 5, but I think he's that guy. I do think there's a world which I'm interested to hear who you have as your like swing starter because I think Leahy could end up being that swing starter, and I think my next pick also could be the swing starter. So we'll see. But I think they want Leahy to make the rotation, and I want to see it too.
Yeah, I've got Leahy as my 5.
Okay, who's your 4?
I picked Fitz.
I did too.
I like Fitz, man.
Yes.
Look, we're overreacting, and
Well, I had him on my original. I did a one right before camp started, or right as the day camp started. So no games. And Richard Fitz was my 5.
I think I had Dobbins on my like very first, but I feel like Fitz's stock is a little bit up after that start. The stuff looks good. The velocity's better than I thought it was. This is a guy that actually can top out at like 97, 98 miles an hour.
He's hit 99 before.
Yeah, I think that's exciting. Obviously, and to have velocity like that early in the spring, yeah, I think he's my 4 right now. Look, Dobbins is going to be there. Palante is going to have a shot. But he looked good. We can't take anything from these like first starts. It was 2 innings. I don't want to overreact.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I know you're not like just putting him in there just because of that. And again, I had mine, if I did my prediction, I've changed some of my position player group stuff since that opening day roster prediction that I did for RR a while back. But, I do think Fitz is a guy that's had success at the big league level before. I think he kind of has. I've kind of underrated him a little bit. I think he has middle of the rotation upside. I don't think he necessarily is like a middle of the rotation starter long term, but I think he can give you years where he's like a good number 3 starter. He's got good stuff. Really like a power ground ball pitcher type who I think can get some more swing and miss than what the Cardinals have had in recent years. I like Richard Fitz a lot. Now, I think he's probably the least locky to me. I think I would put, like you said, Libby, May, and McGreevy is my 3 locks. Leahy to me is like kind of lock, and then Fitz
think Leahy's my 5 if he's in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I've got him as more likely to be in. I think he still makes more sense as your 5 rather than your 4. I know we're
that how they order it doesn't matter too much to me. Like even if McGreevy's in there, I won't be shocked if he's the 4 or 5. Like sometimes even early in the year they try to do matchups with that because they can. But I like Hunter Dobbins is a guy I really like, but I just don't know if they will have enough time. I know he's been throwing, but I think he is still recovering and still not fully there yet from, at least to my knowledge, maybe I'm wrong on that, from the not ACL. He had the, oh my gosh, whatever, because Fitz had the ACL. Forget what his, oh no, maybe Dobbins was. There's so many pitching injuries, keeping them all straight's crazy. But I don't know if Dobbins is going to be fully ready in camp to earn a spot. So I think he's more of a Memphis guy.
Yeah.
But okay, so we've got a similar 5. Who is your next man up? Is your next man up your swing man, or is it?
Yeah, so I put him in the bullpen.
Okay.
I'm not sure how the Cardinals will approach this because I think there's actually a real shot they go to a 6-man rotation early in the season.
Okay. So curious though, if you think if one of these 5 goes down with an injury, do you think the swing man is next man up, or do you think the swing man is the guy that will stick in that? Because I think Steven Matz, like if a guy went down in camp, I think Steven Matz actually still would have been the swingman and Michael McGreevy would have made the rotation. So do you think your swingman moves into the rotation, or do you think your swingman stays the swingman?
I think in this scenario, the swingman will move into the rotation because I don't think they have a Steven Matz. I'm a Steven Matz apologist. I think Steven Matz was done dirty by Cardinals fans. Steven Matz was what he could do by filling multiple roles basically anytime, especially last year where he made spot starts, he made scheduled starts, he had cleanup duty, he pitched in high leverage situations, he piggybacked. I think that's like a really valuable skill.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anybody on the roster right now that
I think they could have Steven Matz light in, I'll just say Andre Palante.
Yeah, he's my
Andre Palante to me. Again, I'm not saying Steven Matz light in terms of the same player, but I think similar role. Where you even go back to 2022 when Andre Palante debuts, he was making spot starts. He was in the rotation for a little bit. He also hit like high leverage. He was also a multi-inning reliever. Like they used him in a million different ways. I think personally, like you said, I think you alluded to this in the front end. I think Palante is going to make the opening day rotation
Yeah.
or an opening day roster. I just don't think he's going to be in the rotation, but I think he gets starts this year. And early in the year, it seems like they really liked the idea that they had a guy like Matz that they could rely on. So I don't think they do a true 6-man, but maybe Palante makes 2 starts in April and 1 start in May to help kind of get this rotation moving and keep the arms healthy. But then he can also fill multi-inning roles. He can, if he's pitching well enough, could be a high leverage option, although, or ground ball option, although I don't necessarily view him as that. And he's the guy that can come in if Richard Fitz is having a brutal day and Palante goes in to get you 3 or 4 innings out of it. But Palante to me feels like the perfect person to put as that long reliever, spot starter, swingman role.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, he's in my bullpen. I've got him labeled as my swingman. I think that if someone goes down, they'll slot him into the rotation. But it's totally possible that Dobbins or somebody else is the next guy up. The Cardinals have more young pitching than they've had in a while. So not necessarily the high ceiling stuff, but good stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that you can actually throw out there. It's not a Robersa or a Kloffenstein that you're going to right now, which I think is nice.
Yeah. Let's start with the back of the bullpen. Because we've got the swingman. So one of the, I'm guessing you have 8 relievers as well.
Yeah. And I give them pretty defined roles. I don't know how you're feeling about this.
I kind of did. So let's start with the closer.
Yeah, my closer, I think there are a couple ways you can go with this, but I certainly hope the closer is Riley O'Brien.
I'm also putting Riley O'Brien as the closer right now, but I'm a little nervous about it because of the hamstring thing right now.
Agreed. But I think he is your most electric arm back there. And I like JoJo Romero. I like Matt. I love Matt Svanson.
Can I edit? So I think Riley O'Brien to me is like quote unquote the closer, but actually I personally think, and maybe I'm wrong on this, especially because you talk about, or you think of Hines' background with Tampa and stuff. I don't know if they necessarily have a defined closer. Part of that's because I think you can make the argument JoJo is their best reliever, but you don't really want to put him as the 9th inning guy because you need him as lefty. And so I think they might play matchups in the 9th inning where you've got
possible.
But if you have a lefty lane that's potentially coming to the 9th, are you going to put they're gonna you wait not use JoJo because you have Riley O'Brien? I think you would use JoJo there, and then because especially if you've got Palante filling this role where sometimes he's making spot starts and he's not available for a few days, and you're actually rolling more of a 7-man group. I think it's possible that Svanson gets some opportunities, O'Brien gets some opportunities, and then JoJo in specific spots gets opportunities. And at some point, you hope one of them claims the job. But I don't know if they necessarily have a defined closer out of camp, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's possible. I look at the way the Cardinals have operated, and I know it's a new regime with Heim, so all this is up in the air. But traditionally, the Cardinals have said many times, closer by committee, and there's always a closer. And sometimes it takes them a second to find that closer, but pretty much every year by May 1st, there's a closer, whether it's Alex Reyes, Bud Norris, Jordan Hicks, somebody always emerges to lead the group. And Heim Bloom could totally run things differently, but the Cardinals, the way they've managed their bullpen in game, like they've always talked, or the last few years, especially under Ollie, they've talked about how forward-thinking this group is and how analytically minded they are, and they still have always trended towards closer. So I think it's possible.
Well, to be fair, they had Ryan Helsley for that stretch.
Yeah,
though.
That's true too.
And Helsley was like, I'm doing save situations because I want my ARB money. So I think they haven't had the opportunity with young arms where they can kind of just do whatever they want there. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not saying there's no world that they don't claim one of them as the closer out of camp. I think it's more likely than it's ever been before that they actually kind of just let guys have the opportunities, because that's also kind of what this year is, like try out guys.
True. Yeah. And I think is it crazy to say that the bullpen is where, like, I think there's some guys that have like their spots in stone and Sharpie on the position player side, but is it crazy to say the bullpen, we know way more about it right now in terms of how I think it'll shake out than the rotation or even the position player core to some extent. Like, I feel like everybody looks at this and knows Romero, O'Brien, Svanson are like your big 3 at the back. And those guys are going to get the 8th and 9th innings almost every night.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I actually think as we go through the rest of them, I'm guessing we have a extremely similar group, and there's maybe one arm that could be different. But I think even if you look at the 40-man roster right now and you look at the options that these relievers have, like I'm gonna give my well, first of all, Tink Hence, I know he's in the, at least for now, he's in the thumbnail. He's not in my bullpen. Maybe at some point, but not now. And I'm gonna break people's hearts, even though I'd love to see him too. Gastion, I do not have in my opening day bullpen because I just don't. I think with the options too, I think he's a guy that they go to hopefully relatively early in the year. But I mean, again, none of these arms like We'll get to him in a second. I don't want to give away my whole bull. Actually, should I just give the bullpen away and then talk about
Yeah,
this?
yeah. And I
Okay.
can react to each guy you put out.
Okay, so I've got again. So I mean, we've already talked about the core three of Savantson, O'Brien, JoJo, which to me they're the high leverage late inning guys.
Yeah, I've got them all.
O'Brien's quote unquote the closer, but it could Savantson sometimes could be, JoJo could be sometimes.
Yeah.
Ryan Stanek in there is kind of like a middle
Yeah,
relief. And especially when the bullpens, like they've got some arms down, I think he moves into a high leverage role. Justin Brill, I think, is a guy that makes it in there as well. Again, he's already on the 40-man roster, left-handed option, doesn't have any options left. Doesn't mean he stays on the roster super long, but I think he's there. Matt Pushard is their Rule 5 guy this year, and so I think he's going to be in the bullpen. Wouldn't be shocked if they send him back, but I think he'll make the roster. And then I already said Palante, and so the last spot goes to George Soriano, who they traded for and they think highly of and they want to work. And so I don't think they're afraid to cut him in camp and say not messed up, but that they just didn't work. Even though I wish they would have kept Granillo and find a different way to do it. It's whatever. But Soriano's got swing and miss, and so I think he's going to make it. And that's 8. Like if they carry a swingman, if they don't carry a swingman, then I think maybe Gassion makes it. But like I think they're going to, and so I don't see how you fit him in unless you're ready to cut bait with one of those guys.
So the thing is, I know I haven't seen Bouchard pitch yet. I'm not that into it. I'm fine. Like I think I'd be pleased if they cut bait.
Pleased.
Let's give it. I want to see Gaston pitch. That's what I really want.
I mean, I do too, but like I personally,
pitch.
unless they know in camp, which again, that's why they do it, that they're like, okay, we're fine without Pushard. Gaston hasn't pitched in Memphis yet, right?
No. Yeah.
So like I would be okay with him spending.
I'm still fine fast tracking him with that changeup.
True, but I'm saying if that gives me a month to look at Pushard at the major league level, I'd rather do that than just cut bait. So we're talking opening day again. By May, June, assuming Gaston's pitching well, I'd love to see him. Yeah,
I think you're right, actually. So I mean, the only difference we have is I'm like on the fence because I want to have fun. I'm on the fence.
No, it's great. I love it.
Gaston's my sleeper, and I'm cutting bait with Pushard. But everyone else makes a lot of sense, right? They need another lefty, and if Gaston's not going to be on the roster, then it's definitely Barreal. And otherwise, they traded for Soriano. It seems like he's going to make it. I labeled him as my Jose Seda. I gave everyone a position.
Do you think there's any shot they don't carry 2 lefties?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
They have to, especially when Romero is a guy that you can't just burn in the 6th inning because you need a lefty.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't any chance they
I agree. I think it's very unlikely. The only scenario I think they could is if they trust Palante to do the reverse splits thing. Because traditionally, historically, he's been better against the left side. But again, I think he's more in that special swing man, using a lot of ways role. And so I don't think they're going to pigeonhole him to being that second option against left-handers, but could be option. Now, Redbird Farm hands that this would have been my sleeper pick. And again, I don't think they're so married to Brill that they would not do this, but Packy Naughton is another guy that I think could make it. But again, I think they've already proven to us a little bit that they don't necessarily fully care about the options and optionality, because if they did, they wouldn't have traded Granillo for Soriano if it made that much to them. So yeah, I see people in the chat, and I hope they don't think I'm like a Gaston hater. I love them. I'm just saying what I think they're going to do for opening day. I think because they've got other guys, they're not going to do it yet. Packy's my next man up for me that I think is like the next most likely, but I could totally see Gaston making it. I could see both of them making it. That would be the most fun scenario, in my opinion, is Packy Naughton and Luis Gaston rather than Brill and I don't know who would be like Pushard, I guess.
The only thing I like about Barreal here is like if he's pitching well, you could trade him at the deadline for something, but it's not going to be a lot. I don't think it's necessarily enough for me to be like, yeah, let's throw 50 innings his way. Because I think Barreal being a veteran and being on the roster and being a lefty, I think he's actually going to get a lot of work if he makes the roster.
Now, I do think Redbird Farms brings a good point, because I'm guessing this is what he's referring to. Gaston's devastating changeup. Like maybe he is the guy that they feel comfortable throwing against lefties sometimes too. So we'll see.
The other problem is, if you commit to Gaston on the roster right away, he does have to stay. Maybe you could go to Packy Naughton and start the options and everything right away. But I do think if they went to Gaston on the roster right away, it'd be like, well, it doesn't matter how April looks. You're going to be here in June.
Yeah. Well, Gaston, I think they could send him down if it's not going well, because he's got the options.
Yeah.
So,
I just mean if you're going to cut bait with Barreal right away, you're already trimming into your very limited left-handed depth.
Potentially, but you still have Zach Thompson, who is on the 40-man. Gosh, there's another, I think, roster. Like Jared Schuster, Nick Roquette is on the 40-man. So they've got other lefties they could go to if they have to. Gordon Graceffo, I think, is someone that could get looks, but I don't think he's a front runner for the bullpen right now. But it's also a fluid group
here, but I don't think he'll be on. I kind of wish they hadn't. I know why they went out and got Barreal and Stanek, but I kind of wish Stanek like wasn't here. I don't know.
Really.
Yeah, because I want to have fun. It doesn't matter, and I think the bullpen's already good. I think the bullpen's actually like really fun. And I kind of just want to see some of these young arms some more. Stanek is fine.
We'll see how they do. We've never seen Heim manage the Cardinals regular season roster, but I have a feeling they're not going to be afraid to cut Stanek if they'd rather see Gassion or something. But then you get the upside Stanek too. Like, again, we saw Phil Maton have an awesome year, and it's not like he got them like insane prospects back, but he did get them interesting arms back in return. Yeah, so it's like
stunk last year.
Well, okay, but Phil Maton has also been up and down at different times in his career too. So again, I'm not saying Stanek's going to have Phil Maton year, but Stanek could get you something deadline like Paul Dion got them Massive Onsen. So, and I think I hope Ryan Stanek has more trade value at the deadline than Paul Dion did. So
they got so lucky with Matt Swanson.
Yeah. So again, that's why you be able to have accumulate these assets you can deal away, because if you, again, that Dion trade worked out, but if you trade Dion 15 times, that's probably the best scenario, right? So they lucked out. But if you trade 15 Dion's, then maybe you get one or two of those guys. So, anyways, and it's funny too because you compare it to Jack Flaherty, right? You compare it to Jordan Montgomery return so far, which again I think JC and Takeo Roby will end up being more valuable than Matt Swanson, but you never know. Like, so we'll see what happens there. But and also I think even in a vacuum right now, I'd rather have Thomas JC than Matt Swanson. As much as I love Matt Swanson, like a position player who could probably be a starter long term, I think is more valuable. But we'll get into the position player side of things next, because I think there's a lot of potential debate there too. But as always, I want to thank 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles for being the presenting sponsor of the Deal in the Cards podcast. With some the top series stuff coming out, there's the Bowman draft stuff that was coming out recently. There's so much new card stuff out there with the new big league season, and so you got to make sure you go check things out. Speaking of Thomas and JC, I have this real fun rookie card I was holding on to. I need to pull out some of my better cards here soon, because I've got a Caleb Williams PC I've been building up that's really fun, and some other Cardinal cards, but they're awesome to work with. Whether you need packs, boxes, single cards of local players and stars from around the league, 314's got you covered. They buy, sell, and trade all sports cards and Pokemon cards. So next time you're in the St. Louis area, make sure you go check them out. We love 314. Sandy, we're moving to the catchers now. Position player.
What if we do this? Because I feel like there'll be no more suspense if we reveal how many catchers we think they're going to have.
Yeah, so let's just start naming them, and then the other person keeps naming if they have to.
I was going to say, what if I go through the lineup, and we go by lineup, and then, or do you want to do position groups?
I'm trying to think. Also, Kevin, we're saying Newt's not available in this scenario. So
I don't think either of us think he's good. It would make things a lot simpler if he was going to be ready, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of your idea about going through the lineup if that makes more sense. Because then do you say the bench after then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, yeah. So
I just have a hot take at the catchers that I really want to get out there, but
I'm excited. I want to hear it. But
I'll get there at the end.
Lead off JJ Wetherholt playing second base.
I like it. We were talking about this pre-show. That is my prediction too, but for the sake of showing a different version of this, sure, I'm going to say that I also agreed that he will be starting and playing second base, but I'll say the scenario where he's not leading off. So I'll go with Mason Wynn shortstop as the leadoff hitter in this scenario.
I like it. I also have Mason Wynn at shortstop. I slid him down in my batting order.
Okay.
Let's see where that goes.
I think so. If I were flipping this, my 1-2 would have been JJ Mason Wynn. And I'll get into it later. So maybe I'll write out what that lineup was going to be, because I can because it sounds like ours were going to be different even if we both had JJ leading off. Yeah. And some of it I thought of trying to lengthen the lineup out. And as much as Mason Wynn doesn't excite me as the number 2 hitter or leadoff hitter, if JJ's batting second, I think Mason Wynn batting first, then Mason Wynn batting second helps lengthen the lineup more. But anyways, I'm curious to see. So I've got, in my scenario though, even though it's not really my pick, but if Mason Wynn's batting leadoff, I have Burley batting second, playing first base.
Okay, I've got Burley batting third, playing first base.
So who's batting second for you, Ivan?
Ivan Herrera.
Now, is he catcher or DH?
He's my catcher on opening day. He's my catcher.
Okay.
I'm catching Ivan Herrera. He's batting second. I'm getting every bit of value I can out of him at this point. That's what I think the Cardinals are going to do. If I was in charge, Ivan Herrera might be playing left field, and we might have been doing that all spring, because I kind of still like that idea. But he'd still be batting second for me. He's your best bat. I want him up as much as I can have him up, and that's why I've got JJ, Ivan, Burleson. I think if the Cardinals are going to win some games this year, they're going to need to score early. They're going to need to put their best hitters together, and you're going to concede some innings because the bottom of this lineup kind of stinks.
So real quick, the chats, it sounds like they're saying maybe go position player group by position group. So let's talk about the top of the lineup real quick, since we're already in the lineup, and like why they need to maximize that, like you said.
Yeah.
But if you're in the live chat right now, let us know if you would rather us pivot and just go position player by position player group and then line up at the end. We'll continue to at least talk about why the top lineup construction matters. Or if you like that we're going through the lineup first and then revealing the bench later, let us know. But if you have a preference, let us know in the live chat. But I agree with you. How they construct the top lineup's going to matter a lot, and it's a weird scenario though, because arguably if you put your three best hitters 1, 2, 3,
your lineup,
the lineup below it's like rough.
But I think look, scoring in the first inning really matters.
Yeah,
I think traditionally. This is just like totally eye testing and spitballing, but like when the Cardinals score in the first inning, things go really well. And I think you're going to put yourself in a position to score a lot if you can go JJ, Herrera, Burleson. I think that's actually a really good 1, 2, 3. Like it's going to be on par with some good teams, not superstar teams. There's no Shohei Ohtani in your lineup there. There's no Aaron Judge, but those are two like very comfortably above league average hitters. And JJ could be really good. I think he's going to get on base a lot. If you're watching him this spring, again, we can't take anything away. Maybe he's not swinging a lot because he's trying to get his plate discipline right, but the discipline's great. You know, he's taking a bunch of walks, and we've seen that throughout his minor league career. So I think those guys are going to be capable of producing, driving him in. And yeah, you're going to have to just say, screw it. There's going to be some innings where we don't score a lot. And that's what it's going to look like at the bottom of the lineup where Scott's going to be there. Walker's going to be there, right? It's going to be bad.
Yeah, I'm going to make a suggestion, even though the comments didn't say yet. It might actually be helpful if we pivot and do position player groups, because then we can talk about some of the different options. Because like like Harry just put in the chat, could for me be a leadoff option if he wins left field utility, but like it's hard to talk about that without knowing if they're on the roster or not. And lineup construction is a whole other thing.
We just jump to catchers.
Yeah, let's jump to catchers. Sandy, how many catchers do you have on the opening day roster?
I have 3 catchers on the opening day roster.
I have 4.
4?
Yeah. I have 4.
I was stuck between 2 and 3 because to be fair, if it doesn't work out with Ivan Herrera, it's actually not crazy for them to bring up another catcher and go to 3 at that point. But I'm hoping that it works with Ivan Herrera. It's also not crazy to just label Ivan Herrera a DH and say he's not going to catch that much after the first month of the season if it's not working. In which case they might carry 3 catchers plus Herrera, who used to be a catcher, much in the same way that they were carrying a bazillion catchers last year when neither Herrera nor Contreras were catching.
Yeah. So 4, I don't know if it's the most likely scenario, but I just see it growing as an option, and it's wild. But I'm going to tell you. So
it's Pozo, Pajes,
Crooks, and Herrera.
Okay.
Now, here's why I think it's possible. With Walker, or not Walker, in this scenario, Nootbaar's not ready opening day. So you have that extra lineup spot open right now. Now there's a player that's not going to make my roster that actually kind of frustrates me. They're not going to make the roster, but I think it's part of the reason why I think they can carry the 4th catcher with Pozo.
I bet that's my
now. Here's why I think I think they're gonna have 4 catchers, but I think 3 of them are to catch, and it's not Pozo. I think Ivan Herrera is going to be in the rotation to catch, and I don't necessarily know if he's gonna be the primary guy, but I think they're gonna be trying this out. I think Pajes will probably be like kind of the primary guy, and Crooks will get opportunities as well. But you've got that DH spot open where I think you can have Jimmy Crooks and Ivan Herrera both get opportunities there. When Pedro Pajes is catching, or when Ivan or Jimmy is catching, the other one could be DHing. And it's a little funky and wonky to start the year, but I think it's a way you do it. And then Pozo can be that 26th man on the roster who's truly a right-handed bat off the bench, who will get some first base starts every once in a while. Maybe he'll get a couple of DH starts here and there. But because of how I have the bench constructed, and because Nootbaar's not starting, so you've got the DH spot open, you basically have 2 catchers on the bench every day, with one of them being Pozo, most likely, who's like basically a backup first baseman catcher and a DH option, and really is more so there to pinch hit late in games. And then like Crooks or Pajes is sitting, and Ivan's starting at catcher or DH every day no matter what. And then the 2 other players on the bench, I think, play a ton in the outfield and the infield, and I'll talk about them later.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I think I have a simpler roster.
That's great.
For sure. Because I think I know who you're talking about, who's not going to make the roster that you're frustrated by. And I actually threw him in the opening day lineup.
I
So
love it. I hope he does make the opening day lineup, assuming it's the same guy.
yeah,
But,
we'll get there. We'll get there. That's actually last for me. I went catchers, outfielders, infielders, DH.
and again, I'm trying to predict what I think is going to happen. I'm not necessarily telling you what I would do. I am
Sure.
just saying, like, especially to listeners, this is what I think could happen.
So on opening day, Ivan's catching, or is he not catching for you?
I don't know. In my lineup, I did put him as the DH. But like, I think if Pedro's catching, Ivan's DHing. If Ivan's catching, I think Crooks is DHing. Does that make sense?
Ooh, yeah.
And then
I've got Crooks in AAA, so
yeah. And again, I think that's a scenario. I definitely am not saying this is the most likely.
But what do you think will happen on opening day? So we can throw lineup numbers down.
So I'm gonna predict opening day then, because it's probably Shane McClanahan for the Rays. I'm gonna put Pajes at catcher and Ivan at DH.
Okay.
So
and where's Pajes in your lineup?
Eighth,
yeah. I like
yeah. So we'll get to lineup construction, but again, I'm not saying it's for sure. I'm not being like plant my flag. It has to be 4 catchers, and it will be 4 catchers. But because some people are like, how can you carry 4 catchers? Well, Pozo is basically I should remove him from the catching thing. I don't think he's going to catch. He's basically going to be a first baseman who hits off the bench, but we know him as a catcher, so it's 4 catchers. But it's like most like Wilson Contreras last year. I don't know. Like, I don't think he's never going to catch, but I don't think he's in the rotation. I think he's just an option if they needed to happen in this scenario. But he's more so bat off the bench, like we've seen Matt Carpenter, Brandon Crawford be. He's that 26 man who barely plays because all these other guys are going to play a ton.
Yeah. Look, I think it's possible that and what I kind of would like them to do, I wish they had been able to like remove Bozo from the roster because it's so
well, they can. It's not a they can.
Really good. I just don't think they will. I wish they had. I don't think they will.
We'll see.
But I think what I would like to have done, and this will spoil the outfield, which is next, but what I would like them to do, especially if they're going to do what you're talking about, don't have Pozo and carry Church.
Oh, I still have him carry Church.
I don't have Church.
Wow. Okay, so let's get to the infield next. But
so I've got
outfield next.
Yeah, okay. Outfield next, because I think outfield and catching are more tied in for me at least than outfield than catching and infield. I've got Victor Scott, center field, 9th on opening day.
Yep, same here.
That's the only thing Walker batting 8th for me. You could bat him 7th or 6th maybe. I've got him in right field.
I'm batting like 5th right now, and I don't love it. But like, dude, I'm telling you, if you bat,
I don't like it.
In the scenario,
throw away every 3rd inning.
The scenario, because again, like the scenario I did here was JJ not batting leadoff, even though I think he'll bat leadoff. So then I don't think he's batting 4th because I think that's equal pressure. I don't think he's batting 5th because you're gonna have a bunch of lefties in a row. So that happens 6th.
Yeah.
So, anyways, my 3 outfield. I have 3 outfielders. I have 3 technical outfielders, but I have a guy in the infield mix who can play outfield.
Oh, I've got JC listed as my left fielder.
Oh well, I don't have JC making my open day roster.
What? What is going on here? This is insane.
Dude, that's why I'm telling you. And part of the exercises I'm trying to like display. I think this has a lot of routes it can go.
There's more routes they can go this year than there have been in a long, long time.
Yeah. Right now, I have Jordan Walker in right field, Victor Scott in center field, and Jose Fermin in left field.
Wow. Fermin in left field will be a ton of fun. I've got Fermin on my bench, but honestly, I might be happier with Fermin than Sajazi.
So
I think here's Sajazi, but Fermin has a shot.
Here's part of why I had it. Like, if it's 4 catchers, like, because I've heard people say Pozo needs to be right-handed bat, and I'm like, whatever, it could be, maybe not. In this scenario, making him be that right-handed bat off the bench. So JC's options, Jose Fermin doesn't. And so, again, I think that gives him the leg up if it comes down to those 2 and they like them both. But I would love for Sid Thomas and JC to be starting in left field and Jose Fermin to be on the bench opening day. So, like, again, I think the next, if you move my scenario around and you take Pozo off the opening day roster, which I think you can easily do, then I think JC starting in left field, Jose Fermin's coming off the bench, or one or the other, like they could swap. And I think there's a chance Nathan Church starts opening day. Wouldn't be shocked.
Totally possible.
Which is crazy because you have a guy starting open day who doesn't make my roster. I have a guy starting open day who doesn't make your roster. Or sorry, Nathan Church isn't starting for me, but he could. I'm saying he could start and he doesn't make your opening day roster.
I might have 2 guys starting opening day that didn't make your roster.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when we get there.
Wait, what's your outfield?
Well, my outfield is Scott, Walker, Sajazi. But I'm catching Herrera, so I've got another DH.
Oh, Do you have Velasquez making
I
it?
do. Yeah. I've got Velasquez as my DH. I think there's more power threat there than there is with anybody else on your roster,
This
maybe.
is why I love this conversation because again, I'm not disagreeing he could make it, but there's so many ways you could construct
He's got him
this.
sixth for me on opening day.
I had him on my Redbird Rants opening day prediction from a few weeks ago. I had Velasquez as an opening day starter as well
Yeah.
against left-handed pitching, but and maybe against right-handed too. But
Yeah. I've got Velasquez sixth DHing, and he's going to play some out. So my outfield is going to be most days Scott, Walker, Sajazi in left. But I think Velasquez can spell Walker or Sajazi and play a corner spot. It's tough because I think Sajazi will be your backup center fielder under my scenario. And I've got Fermin listed as the fifth outfielder, guy that can mix in the outfield.
so you don't have Pozo making your opening day roster, right?
I do. I have Pozo.
So who is getting DFA'd? I guess maybe okay if they do a 60-man IL stint for someone, but they got to make a roster spot for Velasquez, which is part of the reason why I thought it was hard to make happen.
I think they'll DA. I think they could DFA one of the pitchers.
Okay,
that I don't care for.
That's fair.
Whether it's, I mean, I didn't pick this guy out, but I think like whether it's going to be Zach Thompson could hit the 60-day, honestly.
Yeah.
They could 60-day Zach Thompson. They could 60-day Lars Nootbaar. I hope they don't. I hope he's fine.
Yeah. We've got about 10 minutes left, so let's run through the infield real quick. And then I'm guessing people are probably like, okay, wait, who's all on the roster again? Because we're going back and forth, so we can quickly list off. But my opening day infield then is Alec Burleson, JJ Wetherholt, Mason Wynn, Nolan Gorman starting at first, second, short, and third, with Urias off the bench, and then Jose Fermin is a utility outfield type guy.
Okay, I have actually the exact same group of infielders with pretty much the same roles. I've got JJ at second, batting first, Gorman at third, batting fourth, Wynn at short, batting seventh.
Also, hey, I forgot I wasn't thinking about this too. They got to add JJ to 40-man too.
Yeah.
So in your scenario, they have to make 2 40-man moves. And actually 3 because Gastion's making it.
Well, no, I've got Gastion as like my flex.
Oh.
If they do Gastion, he'll replace Pashard.
Okay.
Gotcha. Or Breel, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if they do that, and then you could get other spots by either, it's possible Newt hits the 60-day. I hope he doesn't. I hope he's ready. That'd be bad if he hits 60-day, but it's totally possible with this surgery and the uncertainty around it. And then I think it's possible that Zach Thompson is 60-day. I think it's possible.
Zach Thompson's on the 40-man though.
But couldn't you 60-day him still?
But he's not on the 40-man, so wouldn't make it.
Oh, right. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. Never mind.
That's right. Why I'm gymnastics of it of like
crunch.
Yeah.
It's a crunch. And I think that I might just DFA Pozo then. And he's on my roster, but I'd take him off, DFA him, and replace him with Church.
I'm looking at some potential options. Like Nick Roquette could be an option to be DFA'd. I mean, obviously, like any of the relievers if they don't feel like they're working out. Pozo, I think, is like a candidate. Cesar Prieto, I think, is an option or is a candidate to be DFA'd. I don't think Brian Torres would be. And then technically Jose Fermin, if he doesn't have a strong camp, he doesn't have any options. So
I hope they don't DFA Fermin. He's actually hit at every level.
Yeah, I want him to get a little bit of a shot this year.
And I was surprised. They could DFA Prieto.
So here's I'm going to give some of the argument because I know people, and again, I hope people understand. If I were doing an opening roster, so JC makes sense starting every day. But I'm trying to think through like the lens of development and opportunity and what they're going to do. If Ramon Urias is on the roster, I think he's going to play a decent amount. And I think
as my 26th man.
I think he plays a little bit more than that. I think he's the true backup infielder. He's a pretty good player. He's like a 2-win type player. And
he's pretty good.
And so that's where I think, yes, well, if Sajazi's basically at this point, it's such a weird world we live in. Sajazi or Jose Firmino is fighting for starting left field right now. And I think the other one doesn't make the team. Except, well, okay, I guess Fermin would make the team.
If you didn't carry Church.
If you didn't, in my opinion, if you don't carry Pozo. So I think it comes down to who wins left field. If Fermin wins left field, I think Sajazi goes down because I don't think they want Sajazi sitting on the bench. I think if Sajazi wins left field, then I think Fermin makes the bench and Pozo probably gets DFA'd.
Okay, I have that exact.
Or Crooks goes to AAA to play more often with Bernal, and Pozo makes it too.
That's the scenario I have.
See, this is so confusing. It's so confusing in the fun way.
Well, there's a bunch of dimensions to it, right? It's like you got to think about development. You got to think about who they're going to prioritize plate appearances for, who's got options, right? Then there's the whole crunch. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. And honestly, the farmhand's right. I think there's a world where Urias is starting at DH or third base on opening day. Like,
Yeah, maybe. If they, you know what, if they can't make space on the 40 man for Velazquez, it makes a lot of sense to throw Urias there and then carry Church as another outfielder.
yeah, I personally, because if they don't carry Church, who's backup center fielder?
So Jay-Z.
Well, so that's for me. That's projecting how camp looks because we haven't even seen him out there, and he's just learning the position. So
But
that's
I mean, who else could it be?
Church.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying if Church
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think they really like Church.
They
Like,
do. I like Church.
so I think they want him there. And honestly, hot take, I think Nathan Church and VS2 are actually more fighting. It's I wouldn't be shocked if
totally
Nathan Church overtakes Victor Scott at some point. Now, obviously, how Ollie talked about Church and other, or not Church, geez, Ollie talked about Victor Scott and other people talked about Victor Scott.
They like him a lot right now.
Yeah, so, but I also think Church could play left field. It could be one of those things where the starting lineup at some point is Nathan Church in left, or Victor Scott in left, the other one in center, and Jordan Walker in right, or Jordan Walker off the bench and Newport starting.
That'd be fun. But they're not going to give him Walker yet.
Yeah, but like I think Nathan Church could be a starter at some point, whether it's over Victor Scott or someone else.
Absolutely.
And so having him, and then when Victor Scott needs a day off, he can move to center or vice versa. So I'm gonna run through my 26 man real quick, just so everyone remembers, and you can go through yours, and we could do the lineup. And again, my lineup, I don't love it. I'm just, it's weird, guys, and especially Newt Bar out, it's weird. But I've got 4 catchers, technically 3. I'm gonna say Pozo's a DH first base, so I've got 3 catchers: Ivan Herrera, Pedro Pajes, and Jimmy Crooks. With the weird catcher rotation that was just they'll make work. And then 6 infielders. If you put Pozo as like the backup first baseman, it's Burleson, JJ, Wynn, Gorman, Urias, Fermin, and Pozo, and then 3 traditional outfielders in the sense of Jordan Walker, Victor Scott, Nathan Church. But Jose Fermin will get options out there. So I have Thomas DeJacy not making the opening day roster, and it's not because he doesn't deserve to, but it's because of playing time.
Yeah.
And that's options.
Cool. All right, I'll run through mine.
Yeah, go for it.
Second baseman, JJ Wetherholt. Second is Herrera, who's going to be catching for me. Third is Burleson, who's going to be playing first base. Fourth is Gorman, who's going to be playing third base. Fifth is Thomas Sajazi, who's going to be playing left field. Although I think you could flip him with 6, who I've got Velazquez, who's going to be playing. He's going to be DHing, mix into the outfield every once in a while. 7th, I've got Mason Wynn. You could slide him up if you wanted. I don't know where I am on him offensively right now. But he's 7th for me, shortstop. 8th is going to be Jordan Walker in right field, and 9th is Victor Scott in center field. My bench spots are going to Pajes, who I think will catch every day that Herrera doesn't catch. Herrera will then DH. Velazquez can either then mix into the outfield or sit the bench. In that case, Pajes will bat like 8th. Herrera will still bat 2nd. I've also got Pozo on the bench. I've got him listed as a catcher. I think you're right. I think he's just the right-handed bat, and I think it's very possible Pozo's not on the team by June 1st, and it's possible that they could get rid of Pozo, carry Church, and make that extra spot for Velazquez. Also on my bench, Jose Fermin, who I think also has a shot to compete for left field. If he wins left field from Sajazi, like you said, then Fermin's starting for me. He's probably batting farther down than Sajazi, and Sajazi will probably be in Memphis at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
You know who we didn't even talk about at all that people are making a case for is Brian Torres. Like there's a lot of guys. So I'm gonna
if Fermin is in the outfield every day, maybe Torres is the backup infielder. I've got Urias as my 26th man.
Yeah, I think Urias makes the roster though, which makes it harder for me to figure out how Torres, especially because he's another left-handed bat too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give my preferred opening day roster opening day lineup based on what I've got, and then I'll give the one I was doing with JJ not lead off. And I don't even know if I'd say preferred. I just think JJ's going to bat lead off, but I tried to give the scenario where he doesn't. So my lineup then that I've predicted for a little bit right now is second base, JJ Wetherholt batting leadoff, batting second is shortstop Mason Wynn, batting third is first baseman Alec Burleson, batting fourth is DH Ivan Herrera, but I think he catches quite a bit. But this is like against a right-handed pitcher or a left-handed pitcher. Right-handed pitcher, maybe he's catching or he's DHing, Crooks is catching or vice versa. Anyways, batting fifth, third baseman Nolan Gorman, batting sixth, left fielder Jose Fermin, batting seventh, right fielder Jordan Walker, batting eighth, catcher Pedro Pajes or Jimmy Crooks. And but I think if it's Crooks, he probably goes up for the lefties. And then batting ninth is center fielder Victor Scott.
Wow, so little set in stone. It's going to be really crazy when Church is the starting center fielder.
Yeah. It's just it's like most years we're kind of like there's like 3 roster spots we're kind of debating. Like we literally have guys in AAA that the other person has starting. And there's like Brian Torres, we're like that guy could make it. And it's just like
Yeah. I
there's
mean,
round roster invites that can make it. There's just so much that could happen.
when I think about the group here, we each have 13, and then there's like a nebulous group of like 15 players that includes the 13 we have, plus for me it's plus Church and Crooks, and for you it's plus Velazquez and Sajazi. Newbar is still floating around. Maybe something happens. He could totally be healthy. Who knows? And then there's still other guys like Brian Torres, and that puts us at a group of like at least 17 players.
Yeah,
there are at least 17 guys. And is there anybody we've missed?
like missed like even talking about their role or whatever.
Yeah, anybody else you think has like a remote chance?
I don't think he really has a chance, but Cesar Prieto is on the 40 man.
Yeah, Prieto's hanging around. I mean, maybe if they thought the roster crunch was an issue, Prieto could make it. If someone gets hurt, Prieto could make it.
I don't know. I just don't even see where he would make it though.
Yeah,
because he's got options.
He'd be like your backup infielder. I think if someone gets hurt, he could make it.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess the other 40 man guy is Joshua Baez, but I mean, they've been. We've talked about they're not. They value AAA, and I think that's going to happen.
That's a group of 17 plus Prieto, which is pretty crazy to be fighting for 13 spots with legitimately only like 7 of them set in stone.
Now, I think the lineup could potentially be stabilized a little bit more when Lars Nootbaar is back, because by the time he's back, which is hopefully May, April range, I don't think they've given up on Walker yet, even if he's playing poorly. And I think Gorm still gets time to it. And if he's not, it's because Urias is playing or so JC, so it's not that crazy of a change. But that's part of the reason why early on I'm playing with like this weird world where like a lot of guys are getting starts depending on the day, because you can with Nootbaar not being there. But we'll see. I mean, this could flex a lot. Like I could see the Ollie running so many different lineups this year. Because on the pitching side, they want to give opportunity in the position player group. I think they'll be able to give a lot of opportunity too, and injuries happen, all that kind of stuff. So
run through the bullpens and rotation real quick.
Yeah, let's do that real quick, and then we'll wrap up. Appreciate the support again. If you've been enjoying this, let us know your lineups, especially if you're listening later. Let us know what you think of the 26 man roster and lineups and bullpen and rotation, and hit the like button. Helps out a ton. So I've got my rotation: Matthew Latour, Dustin May, Michael McGreevy, Kyle Leahy, and Richard Fitz. With a bullpen of Matt Savanson, Riley O'Brien, JoJo Romero, Ryan Stanek. No traditional closer, by the way. Justin Briel, Matt Pushard, George Serrano, and Andre Palante, who's a swingman.
Almost the exact same thing. Rotation is Libby, May, McGreevy. I switched Fitz and Leahy. I just think the stuff makes more sense there, but who knows? And then my like traditional, non-traditional closer probably is Riley O'Brien. Setup guys, JoJo Romero, lefty, Matt Swanson, high leverage. Then I've got Palante as my swingman. I think he'll pitch a little more high leverage than some of these other guys. Briel's in there as a lefty. Who knows? Soriano, he's my Jose Seda. He's cleaning up for me. Maybe he carves out a bigger role, but right now he's probably the 8th guy. Stanek, veteran. He's 34 years old. They signed him. They're hoping for something. And then it's either going to be Pushard or somebody else. 8 spot's a little bit fun. I had some fun and picked Gastelum as my sleeper. Pushard's gone, but it's probably Pushard. Yeah. And in terms of names, we didn't talk about Hunter Dobbins. Again, I think at some point he'll get a shot. I just don't think it's a winning day. Packing on, I think, could very much be in the mix. And then, like you said, Gastelum as well, I think is it's an interesting group this year. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Appreciate the support on the podcast. As always, please like and subscribe. Helps channel a ton. Go check out the first episode of Trevor Rosenthal's podcast on our channel. Make sure you go check out Birds on the Farm, all the different kinds of content. We had the top 3 prospects come out recently as well, which I know our team with Kareem and Tyler and Adam and Aiden put a ton of time and work into that. So make sure you go check that out. We appreciate your support as always. Like and subscribe. Let us know your opening day lineups and rotation and bullpen and 26 man group below. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, Pozo.